And good morning on your Saturday morning Memorial Day weekend. A little bit later getting on, but it's good to be here. Hope all are having a wonderful day so far. The weather thus far is good, but we got storms, I think, here in a little bit for at least a bit. That'll be okay. We are glad to be here. Dave in the AM, your host. If you've never been here before, I am the co-host of the Southern Fried Podcast, Cornbread Nation. This Southern talk is one that I usually do. I don't usually, I usually just do these. And Miss Kaylee Griffin has jumped in there. And how is Nanny doing? Well, I was just fixing to give an update there, youngin'. My granddaughter, my wife is home, got home yesterday. She is at home, yes, at home. We are managing. She is still weak, but getting by. And so between your daddy and I, we have been able to keep an eye on her and keep things good. She's sitting up and drinking a cup of coffee right now. So there is your nanny update for the day. But we did just get her home. For those that don't know, she took a terrible fall a couple of weeks ago. And, uh, Kaylee, I think she's probably seen Coco. But Coco's been kind of hiding out a little bit. I've only seen her once. So I think without you there, she kind of hid a little bit. But I'm sure she'll come walking around today. It was a busy day yesterday. By the time we got home, I don't think Coco came out. But she'll come out today and they'll see each other. This be the dog. So thanks for asking. Hope you're doing well. Well, we had good programs yesterday. Hope you got to see the Rowdy Roasters last night on the Front Porch Talking. Those guys are really nice guys. Looking forward to catching up with them at the festival. We enjoy our Friday night interviews. We don't always have an interview, but we typically try to have them on Wednesdays or Fridays. But Fridays is a good one. The Front Porch is a good show for that. And this week I haven't done as many MAGA reports. That will kick back in really strong this week with my wife at home now. It's been a crazy last couple of weeks. We've tried to manage as best we could. Plus, I was doing some back at home work or back at work, work at night, and that also impacted some of the evening shows a little bit. And frankly, I was worn out. Frankly, like sometimes I'm a night owl. Sometimes I do shows up to 12:30 in the morning, but um, sometimes you just need rest, and so. Don't rest good when any of the family's out and not at home. And so I said I'm just going to get some rest. We'll pick back up. I did a couple, but we'll get started with that tomorrow afternoon. I think it's still a go. Be on Killer Carl's program with Miss Regina from the Dialogue Box and a couple of others. Tomorrow afternoon, we will be talking about. Some different aspects, all relational type stuff, relationship to God and relationship with self. And I don't, we'll see where the topic goes, but look forward to that. I hope that is able to happen. I think that's scheduled for tomorrow, the 25th. Yes, Sunday afternoon on Killer Carl's Rumble program. Clayton says hi. Well, hello to Clayton. Little brother, grandson. How are you, young man? Glad to see y'all here on the YouTube side. But we will have Sunday morning in the Word. Then we will have News Desk tomorrow night. I'll be the News Desk comes on at 9. I'll be catching up at the end of the Coke 600 for our sports show. Really like the new logo for the sports show, and we're going to get a new logo for the racing hour. Appreciate all the folks that are supporting that. We're having a lot of fun with that. It's a busy schedule, a lot of stuff going on. And starting the second week of June, our Wednesday Hump Day Views, we just recently changed that from Hump Day News to Hump Day Views because it seemed to more fit. And no, Kelly, it has not. But I'll check the mail, sweetheart. I'll check the mail. We're going to have the second part is going to be a Rumble exclusive. And that will be the vent, the Southern Fried vent. We're looking forward to that. Everybody likes to vent sometimes, but we'll be taking that. It'll be almost half of a show that's Rumble open to everyone, and then half of it will be a premium only that we'll do. We'll do that 3 weeks out of the month, and so looking forward to that. The vent had a lot of people like that from across the board, and appreciate all the folks that have really giving us a follow. We have went over 51,000 followers. We just recently went over 50,000. And as of today, we're at 51,000 followers, and we couldn't be more appreciative or humble about any of that. And there is the logo for the vent. The right was about our Superstition show. But the Southern Fried Vent is a Rumble exclusive. We're looking forward to that. So if you don't have a Rumble channel, get one. It's free. If you do want to watch the full show, go Rumble Premium. It's reasonable as I'll get out, and But we're looking forward to that. We do have some Rumble exclusives, and we may have a couple of exclusives across the smaller stuff here and there. Not just on Rumble, but maybe on a couple of other platforms too. Trying to give them some love, whether it's TikTok or Clapper or whatever. But excited about what's ahead. Robert will be leaving today for the beach, and he's going to try to check in from the beach. Monday morning show will probably come. He'll be on from the hotel or somewhere, and then hopefully he should be back on Monday night. We're gonna have a birthday party, our 1 year, basically our 1 year. Robert was talking about he put up one video, but I think that video was actually just on our side of Messenger. I don't think we actually had the first video up until Memorial Day. That was the first really official live videos for the podcast. One video, I say videos. It was the first video live that we were both on together. That's one that counts because that really was the official podcast video. And that was 1 year ago, Monday. So we're going to have a birthday party on Monday and have fun with that. So, you got to celebrate those kinds of things. Those birthdays, which I recently had as well. And lots of, that's cool. Okay. All right. You go babysit Clayton. Love you too. And take care of the kiddo. He's a handful, as most boys are. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's remember those soldiers. This is Memorial Day. Let's remember the sacrifice. I was talking to someone in another country, and someone asked me the question because, we're here in America and we have a lot of patriotism. And I said, what is patriotism? Never heard the term. I said, well, basically, in its base form, it's love of country. And it's, some people probably don't have that. They don't have a patriotism. I mean, there's people in America that don't have it. But some countries, maybe they just never thought about that because of maybe the way things are structured. I don't know. But I was talking to someone yesterday from their country. It's a whole different person. And they were talking about how their country, how much they love their country. And I said, as you should. As you should. So that concept of patriotism, people identify with that and they like that. What is patriotism? And, it's not love of, a regime. It's love of country. People love their country. They may not love what's going on always, but it's interesting some of the comments we get from inside of Russia, from inside of China, other places. What is this idea of patriotism? And some people look across the great ocean and they see America and they say, well, we wish we had what you have. And there's people here that hate. They don't even appreciate what we have. They don't even like what we have. And they don't have a love of country. And the country can go through hard times. The country can do things you're not always liking. But I still love the country. I still have patriotism. I love America. I'll always love America. It's like, it's the family. Sometimes you may not like how family acts, but you love your family. Well, America's family. That's my home. I love America and appreciate everything that, that I've been blessed with, the opportunities I have, and to be able to do those things that that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do in places where they live. People here take that for granted. People that run down the country. And they want to point at other countries and they want to say, well, we should be more like them. No, we shouldn't. No, we should not. We should just keep on being this constitutional republic, which most people in the country don't have an idea of either. They want the Dems want to throw around the term democracy, and they know better, but they want to promote this idea of the majority rule. So they just figure if they get enough votes in an area or in this or whatever, we just pile the votes in. Well, we win. Well, it's a constitutional republic. Doesn't mean, I was at a church one time in Oklahoma City, really nice church. And the pastor was doing a really good job in his preaching, but he was on this topic of democracy and constitutional republic. He brought that up. It was a patriotic service. And and to demonstrate that fact of what we are as a constitutional republic, he said, if we're not a true democracy. He said, if we were, he said, well, I could say today from here in the pulpit And he went to one of the guys, one of the elders, one of the deacons probably or something. And he said, Brother so-and-so is going to take us all to lunch. Is everybody for that? See a raise of hands, kind of joking. And by just a majority vote, then everybody, well, he's going to pay for our lunch. And he said which they didn't make him do, but it was a good point. And the Dems like to say, well, we had the most votes. We should have won. They know good and well, they know exactly how this works. But they want to confuse sometimes the ignorant American public into thinking that something nefarious has went on when in fact they're the ones that are doing the nefarious activities. But yeah, it's not. It's a constitutional republic. And I just preach that. Because people that don't have good civics, they never took civics, they don't understand the workings of government, they've never wanted to know, they don't care, they don't have an idea of how government works, they don't have an idea how a bill is made, they don't have any idea how the three branches of government work. What are those three branches of government? They don't have a clue what those are. And they just never cared for that. And so they hear these sound bites and it gets them fired up, and then the pouring out in the streets, the right to protest, which we have and we should have, but the right to protest has become what they think is the right to be violent. That is not right. That is not legal, and it's not lawful, and it's not what is allowed. But that's what our leaders in some areas, on some platforms, are showing the American public, that it's, we're going to be violent. We're going to get arrested. We're going to be violent and influence others to do the same. And I mean, we're just a hair's breadth away from full-on someone in the government. The only thing that's held them back is they know that they don't want to go to jail for a long time. They don't mind the handcuff, go to jail, get bonded out, and probably get most of the, well, I hope this last one does it. They're facing some serious charges. That sought to riot, that mob mentality. They want to do it. They say it, but they say it in a way that they think they're not going to get in trouble. But there's going to be some radical leftists that's going to stand up. They're going to call for a full-on war within our country. That's if we're not careful, that's where we're headed. And we've already seen now. We've seen leaders that were, defending those that destroyed America, defending those that burned down restaurants or drugstores or grocery stores or police stations. I mean, what's next? They're gonna march down the school and burn it down. They're gonna march, and then like they said in Missouri, and Minnesota and other places, we're coming to the suburbs next. We know we're coming for you, suburbanites. We're coming for you next. I mean, that's where we're at. It's a tinderbox, and there's this, and right now, I mean, we've got leaders that will go into action. But still, we don't need that type of rhetoric from our leaders. It's awful and horrible that we have people that do that sort of thing. There's also people in certain parts of the government around the country that are for, that are trying to form their own little, basically, areas and countries. This has been going on for some time in Mississippi. There's been a movement in Southern California. I'm not talking about forming a new state, or not talking about that. That's happened before. And there are some counties in Colorado. There's some counties in Oregon that want to do this. There's some that they're real conservative and they're tired of the leftist agenda of the cities that is propagated across the state by sheer, they're just bigger and they carry more weight, and they feel like they're not represented and they don't like what's happening in their state. I'm talking about people that are trying to carve out, whole swaths of the United States and saying, or those that are trying to take back Southern California to Mexico or something. It's crazy. We put a stop to that. And I'll tell you, a lot of people don't have the idea of, that's why you must have a strong military. I mean, most land has been, and people want to go back and say whatever about the formations of America and how we got here and who was here first and the mistreatment. Well, sure, there's certainly things that happen, and but if you look at most lands, most of them become who they are they were conquered. They were conquered. I mean, that's what the early, histories of our world are. It was a constant who was bigger, who was stronger, and who could fend off and who could conquer. And these morons that sometimes are in office in our country, they don't understand that. They think that just because we play nice across the world, we give everybody a job, we spread the wealth around, everybody's going to get along. No, they're not. You always have enemies, and your enemies are always wanting to conquer you. So you must have a strong defense. So you just kick the crap out of them and hit them so hard that they don't think about doing it for another 1,000 years. And that's why we must have a strong military. As much as Russia and this whole ugly Russia-Ukraine war, they had the prisoner exchange, but then they talk about, then there's hits from Ukraine in certain areas, and Russia just had its biggest hit ever all across the country in Kyiv and Odessa and other regions around the country. A lot of civilian places hit, maybe all of them, missiles and or drones, hundreds of them. It's going to be difficult. The hatred there. Putin talks out of both sides of his mouth. On one side, he tells people, well, we're going to have victory here. And the other side of his mouth, he said, oh, we must make peace. They're both liars. I mean, it's going to be difficult to get to a point there, and don't know what's going to happen here. But I would say they're, and Belarus is the prisoner exchange happened in Belarus, which is a puppet state basically for Russia, and they're itching to get in the fight themselves. So things continue to stay ugly in that way. But there are people who think well, we'll just give them what they want, appeasement. Remember, land for peace, it doesn't work. No, you get peace by punching somebody in the mouth and saying we can get along, you're gonna get another one. I mean, that's what happens if your neighbor's coming over to attack you. Comes to your door. I mean, threatening your kids. I mean, you take care of it, and obviously, I know there's authorities you can get involved. What I'm saying is that you just don't let that go on. You let them know there's some ground rules here. Well, we have them as countries too. And we've always tried to handle a lot of things across the world before they ever got to America. There's things we got involved with we probably shouldn't. We're involved with things now we shouldn't be. But there's some things we're involved with we need to get out of. And the troop drawdown in Europe is a great start. Let them manage themselves. They talk a big game over there. Let them do it. We should have strategic locations around the world. I'm all for that. I just don't like being in the middle of somebody's argument. That's like two people fighting. You get the one guy to back off, and you get hit in the back of the head by the other guy. He takes advantage of you working with the one. Hello, my friend, the Angry Conservative. How are you doing on this fine Saturday? We're here in North Georgia, broadcasting live from the banks of the Southern Fried River. Hope things are great in the great state. Yes, I say the great state of Alabama. I hope things are well with you, my friend. Today will be your interview series. I need to catch that. I guess you're doing one this weekend as well, even though it's holiday weekend. Somewhat a holiday. I don't mean that in the festive sense. It's a time to reflect and repose and to honor. But still, it's a time where families are together, and some people alter their schedule. But I bet the Angry Conservative, I would bet he does not alter his schedule. He continues to march. On that note, we continue to, and we'll be adding to this, but we are quite thrilled to be able to put up our Rumble Friends list. We are at the top, many of our different channels. Some are bigger, some are smaller. One is Rob's, one is mine, and the rest of the podcast. But those at the bottom, below the line, and there he is, the Angry Conservative. Yes, love the logo. They have great logos, our friends. Killer Carl, Empty Pockets Podcast, Half Pine Forge, our friends Steve, James, and Carl. Then Miss Kim over at Kim's Coffee Talk. Miss Regina at the Dialogue Box. And our good friend in here, the Angry Conservative. He said maybe one day he won't have to be angry. Maybe one day we won't have to be angry. But right now, there's a lot of conservatives that are angry. We're ready for the perp walks. We're ready for some indictments and some arrests. We've seen a couple, but there's a whole lot more that needs to happen. But yeah, countries are conquered, and you'll be reconquered. Some countries have been conquered and reconquered many times. the Middle East, that area of land that is fought over and argued over and seems to, always have the attention of the world, always a hot spot. That has been rolled over by army after army after army after army. But right now, a swath of it is controlled by the IDF. Whatever you think of them or not, I'm a supporter. I don't like everything Israel does government-wise, but I love the Jewish people and I love Israel. I love other people too. I don't dislike anyone. But I'll tell you this as a warning, don't mess with the IDF. They've had enough. And whether people like it or not, that bear kept being poked and poked and poked, and finally they just unleashed. And I'll tell you something else about the IDF and the country of Israel. If you kill their people, you will never live in peace. The murderers will always be brought to justice. That might be 1 year from now, it might be 50 years from now, but the enemies of Israel who inflict death and destruction upon their people, they will be met with justice. Long, long memories. And they will spend the rest of your life, if you're that murderer, looking for you. So don't do it. America, we give people a pass after a time, Controversial sometimes. I know how things work in the Middle East, and you're working with different groups. Sometimes at one time we were friends with Iraq. At one time we were friends with Iran. And then we backed Iraq in their war against Iran, the 12-year war. And then a few years later, yes, we were fighting Iran. We may be fighting Iran here before long. Who knows? Because I think Israel's going to. And who knows? Got a lot of resources in the region. I thought it was interesting, the record setting for one day back in February, more munitions were dropped on the Houthis in one day off of carriers, aircraft carriers, than ever before in the history of aircraft carriers. 125,000 pounds. Of course, I don't know how much that is. I don't know how much the bombs weigh. They weigh different amounts. They're heavy. But still, I was interested. You still got to lift off with them off those carrier decks. But that's a lot. So that's how much they hit them in one day, 125,000 pounds of munitions. The Houthis tagged out. They waved the white flag and said, we've had enough. It might be Iran next. I don't know. Nobody knows. But friends of the podcast have said it feels as though Israel is going to hit Iran any day, at least hit those nuclear sites. That's a very real possibility. Israel has a strong defense. They do have nuclear weapons. They just never admit it. And if their lives were in danger, yes, they're going to unleash, at least on the people that are putting them in danger. We don't need that, but that's what happened. That's why we need a tap down of the India-Pakistan conflict, both nuclear powers. That's always an ugly one that rises up. Russia, Ukraine, same kind of thing. At least does not need nuclear releases. Do not need that. The Golden Dome, as President Trump calls it, says he'll have it ready by the end of his term. It's going to cost a lot of money. And, current estimates of the big, beautiful bill that he's trying to get passed, some say that in the long term, we still add to the debt. That's not good. We're way heavy, obviously, in debt. And you know what? To be fair, both parties have there's no party can really claim that they've really taken this serious. It's always lip service, but we go deeper in debt as a nation. And I say that being fair across the board. Some did a little less, some did a little more. But both parties have been just as guilty as the other one of raising the debt. And American debt continues to grow. At some point, that's going to be major problems for the United States of America. We've got to get a handle on that. I mean, if you save money in the front door with Doge, cutting the fat, finding where the waste and fraud was, even if it's $2 trillion, or what, I don't know how much it is. I don't think it's that much yet that they've saved. And even if you bring in some business, but more of it's going out the back door than coming in the front door. Well, that's basic economics. You're going further in debt. You're borrowing. At some point, the banks won't loan you money, just print more money. That's a dangerous ground to be on as a nation. Dangerous place to be as an American. Americans have went in debt, very deeply in debt, credit card debt. You know, they go in debt for things they don't need, and then when things get tough and companies draw back, and another thing Americans do are very bad to do is to live off of overtime money for those that work a lot. And if they get used to still paying down their debts extra with the overtime, they get their lifestyle used to the overtime. And then when that gets cut back, then they're not able to pay their bills. And then bad decisions happen. And, they max out the credit cards. And the next thing you know, they're upside down in their finances. And God forbid they lose their job or they're looking for a job and have to take a pay cut or something like that. Then it just gets bad. Well, the countries do that too. States do that. Cities do that. California has been in an economic mess for a long time, and many other states as well. Some are economically sound. Some the federal government could take a page from because some states have actually a surplus and have done well. Georgia's one of them. We got our problems in Georgia politically for sure, but businesses have moved into Georgia. Business is good in Georgia. There's money flowing through Georgia, and the state has money to do its business, and it has a surplus. Some states have done well. The federal government has, for decades, with very few blips in that, has always spent more than they're bringing in, and the debt just continues to go up. It's rather depressing to go over to the debt clock. Go look at that. Watch that thing spin out of control. And the thought of how much interest we're paying every day, just on just paying on the interest, not paying on the principal, just the interest. I think we understand that, and people make bad decisions. They go out, they get a credit card, or they buy what they want, and the salespeople are more than happy to do this to you because they want to make a sale. They're like, well, we can get you in that car. Well, we couldn't go through these first 5 lenders, but we got Sal and Vinny over here, and nothing against the Sals and Vinnies of the world, but we got Sal and Vinny over here, and well, they will make a deal. We can get you in that car today. They don't tell you his interest rate's about 23%, and they stretch that thing out as many years as they can. They get as much down as they can out of you, take a trade in, whatever. I knew a guy that did that. 2 cars. They each got a new car. They each were paying 23.5% interest. Credit cards maxed out, paying for the cars off the overtime they were working, and the overtime got cut. They went belly up for a time. I mean, that's the kind of people that had a breakdown and just a meltdown because these people. Oh my gosh. And it's really, people need to be sounder in their financial dealings, yes. But there are some sharks out there, speaking of the Sals and Vinnies, the legal ripping of Americans. I'm sorry, if you're out there and you work for a title lending, title pawn plays, come on. Those rates are criminal. I'm sorry. Not sorry. When you get people that float the check, we'll give you the money now, and they just pay the interest on it and keep it live, or they've got a $300 check. So I knew a guy that had 3 like that, $1,200 in total, and every week they're just paying the interest to keep them. They're not paying down the $1,200. They're just paying the interest every week, which was quite a bit of money. And and that's the same ones that had these 23.5% car payments, interest on those. They overpaid for the car, and they're just bad at money management. Bad. And people that really handle their finance, I mean, things can happen to any of us, right? Emergencies, health. It can happen to anybody. I'm not saying it can't, because it can. Some people put themselves in the hole. Uh, our nation has. Our nation didn't have to be where it's at. That's greed. That's just saying yes to everybody. That's just giving everybody what they want. Oh, no problem. We'll give you that. Um, but people go out and they buy their wants. But there are people that have done very well with their finances, and those are the ones who will ride through the tough financial times when, inflation hits, when things slow down, when there's not as much business. They're paying more like we are for groceries. It's depressing to go buy groceries. I mean, my gosh, as Uncle Jeb would say, good grief. Walk through a grocery store and just, now we make a lot of coffee at home, but my wife who just came home and she texted me. She wanted a cup of coffee, so I was just gonna get her one. And I was kind of busy running around, so I didn't have time. So I went to the local store, and they got these great deals on sodas, which are not bad, but the coffee was $2.35 for a large. I'm like, $2.35, good grief. Oh, that's why I don't buy them outside very much. But you go in the grocery store and you're seeing these prices for one can of beef stew or something. You're like, what in the world? I mean, it's out of control. But thankfully, energy prices have came down some. Gasoline, some of those things are getting better, at least in our area, across the nation, I think. But we got a long way to go. But we're still in a precarious position. We're in a bad position, and this, financially could be ugly for Americans. It's ugly now. It could get uglier. I mean, people paying what they're paying for a little apartment right now. My God, I could have bought two houses. I could have had two. Well, in some cases, if the houses were not too big, three. I could have had three mortgages for what some people are paying a month for a small apartment now. That's just how bad it's gotten. I don't know how some people are doing it. I really don't. My mortgage just jumped up, and it's mainly because of the insurance going up, different things that are going up, and it jumped. It jumped not quite $100 a month, but everybody's went through that. We got different things that are going on. There's tariffs and things that are happening, and but yeah, there's a lot of people got to be smart with that. Brosky Bear, good morning to you. Almost afternoon. Best way to save money on groceries is to eat healthy and learn to cook. Eat simple and clean. That being said, it's still way more expensive than it used to be. Absolutely, yes. Be smart. Downsize your portions. Don't have to eat as much. And it is crazy. It is crazy. Yes, and thank you. Uh, and I like meat. But we look for the some deals. Somebody asked me, "Are you going to grill for Monday?" I said, "Yeah, probably some hot dogs." My wife will probably ask for a steak, but we'll have to find the right deal for us, and get that steak going. But I do love it, steak and tater and all that. But yeah, eat healthy as best you can. Uh, you know, Americans, they're just out of control in a lot of stuff. We just we gotta get our house in order. There's some things we can't control, right? We can't control what the government's doing, really, because we elect them, the Constitutional Republic. We elect them to represent us, and we're kind of at their mercy. We can make the calls, we can send the text and emails, we can go to rallies, we can there's a lot of things but once they're elected, and then we're just kind of at the mercy of how they lead. But what we can do is tighten up our house. We can tighten up on what we do and be ready in case some kind of a crash comes in any way. Brosky Bear, it's also best to make multiple trips from which grocery store, keep what's in your fridge fresh, stocking up for a month or a couple of months. You won't be eating healthy then. Well, that's true. A lot of things, spoil. Yeah. I mean, we pass by stores here in America every day anyway. If you're going to work and back, if you're working, you go and buy stores, you know. And honestly, a lot of the stuff in the store doesn't keep very long anyway nowadays. They've got that stuff timed, it's rolling out pretty quick. They don't want that around either. They don't want the inventory. They don't want the bad. They're trying to keep get that right amount, and pump that stuff through there. So yeah, there's a lot of ways. But Brosky Bear, you got to have some things for the bunker, right? You got to have some things. It might not be the most healthiest, but hey, I do like these prepper uh, things that come sealed and they're supposed to be good. I don't know, for 50 years or whatever, 100 years. I don't know. I mean, those are options if you got some good safe place to store that stuff. I think some of them are almost like 25 years. I'm exaggerating only a little bit, but in the ones I've seen, I think they're good for about 25 years. You got good clean water you can add to it. They're nice looking meals. A couple of programs I watched, they advertise for some of that, and so yeah, yeah, Brosky Bear, you better head to that grocery store. You don't want to become the zoo. I'll be at one later. I do a little security on Saturdays, so I'll be posting around doing some things. That's why I come in. Try to come in early and get a show or two in. Today just one show. I think I'm just going to do Southern Talk. Probably 3 tomorrow, and we'll see. Got a lot of stuff to get done with the wife back home, but we'll stay busy. You be safe out there at the store. Don't let them put the mask on. Grab your wallet and empty it out. You know, and here's the thing. Again, I don't know that it would ever happen, but I have said for some time, in the case of a national emergency, we all know, or we should know, that the presidents have enacted enough executive actions to be able to control the country. They can take over the financial systems, the waterways, the interstate highways. The list is long. All these things, they can take over the airwaves, yes. They can take over the internet. They can take over the broadcast stations. They can take all that over with a simple stroke of a pen in enacting a national emergency. There's always been a fear, I mean, with the wrong person's in there. Of course, some people say, "Dave, well, that we have fear because he's in there." But if we're in a constitutional crisis, if our country was in a constitutional crisis, see, national emergency could. Some people think we're under attack. Natural disasters that have swept the nation. A massive solar flare that wipes out the grid, which that's could happen. We're actually under a solar blitz right now, and there's a lot of your cell phones, and I've seen some of that lately. Cell phones. By the way, X was down earlier. I don't know if it's back up. I don't think that solar flare, but our systems are under a huge attack right now from massive solar flares that are occurring. We're closer to the sun right now, and our broadcast systems are under attack. Hello, brother Steve from the great state of Ohio. Howdy, howdy. And so these systems are under attack from the solar flares. But my original point was, if in what is a national emergency? Could a president enact a national emergency and enact these executive actions? And could that national emergency? It doesn't have to be natural disaster. It doesn't have to be under attack. What if it was a financial disaster? What if it was? What if it was? What if it was the debt that took us down, or I don't know. That's something to think about. Could they be hoping that we actually do collapse financially to enact the control mechanisms that our president has? There's your conspiracy theory. I would think that would fall under the rules. I mean, if because we would be under a national emergency if all of a sudden nobody can get their money out of the bank and they say your money's gone, or it'll be 6 weeks, or the government, is got control of all the financial systems. They say they're going to put you on a ration. Back like during the war, you can only buy gas on certain days. You can only, there'll be blackouts, major power outages for 6 hours out of a day, or rolling blackouts across the country. Can you imagine that kind of crap going on? Wow. I don't know what fully constitutes a national emergency. Food shortage. Try to stop chaos. Because it would be chaos. So in that case, I would want to have and not nobody know. You couldn't let nobody know that you had the prepper food set back. You know, anybody got some of that? If you got some of that, well, I guess we don't want to tell, but well, nobody knows where you're at or who you are. You could say you have some of that. I think it's interesting. Somebody's buying it, right? These people are selling it left and right. They stay sold out. It's not cheap, but do you have anything like that? And don't say the freezer because you're going to find some. Well, you could power it with solar, I guess. Because if they turn the power off, or if we fall under a massive solar, massive magnetic storm that knocks out maybe many areas of the country's electrical grid, not or EMP or whatever. I don't know. I got 50 years worth of Twizzlers and Fritos, and I will feed it to the death. I hear you. Broski Bear's in here talking about eating healthy, and then Steve comes right in. Yes, the Twizzlers and Fritos. But how you gonna keep them Fritos good for a while? 50 years. I mean, do you have some sort of way? They're sealed air. There's no oxygen in there, and they're still crunchy. 20 years after they put in there. You have some. Oh, do you got to have your clean water? You got to collect it. You got to put your iodine in there and all that. 55-gallon drums of Dr. Pepper. Yeah. Oh, the image I have right now of you sitting in your bunker with the Fritos and Twizzlers and the 55-gallon drum, just with a hose that just comes right to your mouth of the Dr. Pepper is killer. Okay, stale Fritos are still tasty. The chili cheese flavoring is 99% synthetic chemicals anyway. You got it, baby. I like those chili cheese Fritos, man. That's one of my favorites right there. I shouldn't eat them, but I do eat them from time to time. I was getting them about a couple 3 times a week. I've calmed down off of that. Well, I slowed down my chip consumption. I didn't eliminate it, but I went way down. Was having all these problems. Stomach. I mean, once a week, and I had it narrowed down, and I really thought that it was two things. It was chips and peanuts. I even talked to my doctor, and he said, "Oh, probably got irritable bowel syndrome and all this stuff." And so I love peanuts. I love peanuts more than I love chips. I love peanuts, and so I'm eating these peanuts. I quit eating them. I 100% cut out peanuts, brought down the chip to almost zero. I mean, just every once in a while with a sandwich or something, I'd eat a handful. And I was still having these problems. So I thought, wait a minute, that's not the problem. It turns out it was some medication I was on. So I went back to the doc, and I'm like, Doc, you got to help me out, man. I mean, once a week I'm getting wiped out for a day. Like I'm sick. I can't. I can't function. And that's last week when I did it, and I took it, and I'm like, I had to take it one more time. I had to have it. I was like, it was like getting ready to march in the fire. I mean, I'm taking it like, here we go. And then for the first few hours, I thought, oh, this ain't gonna be bad. It's not as bad this time. Oh my gosh, the next 6 hours, I was wiped out. Oh, and I had an appointment already set up for the doctor, so I thought I ain't doing another bit of that medicine until I go see the doctor. I don't allow myself to eat them anymore. I avoid bioengineered ingredients, which is everything. Everything is beautiful in its own bioengineered way. Oh, red dyes. Cut out the red dye, man. Blue dye. There's a lot of dyes in there. Oh, people eat food. They don't realize the natural coloring of food, and they put those dyes in there so that when you get that food, you see the store, it's like, oh, look how pretty it is. Well, that's not its natural state. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? What are we going to do for food? I really do want to, and I haven't done it yet, but I really do want to get back to the garden. Um, there's still a little time if I want to do that, but I do want to start with a small and kind of build up from there. Hey, oh, nice to hear, man. Yeah, I have to take time and do a lot of that stuff. I'll have to check it out. We do promote you, so you might have some people that will come by. We know some of our followers have become followers of yours. We're glad to hear that, and have made some orders, and we're glad to hear that. And they'll be glad they did it. I need to order another hook from you. Um, and the other new thing, I just hadn't done it. Maybe I'll do that today, Steve. That'll be my birthday celebration weekend. I'll share the love with you. I'll make an order. I'll make an order. You probably got the stuff in stock already, and can get her shipped out. You know, I do a lot of work on logos and different things, backgrounds and stuff. So you gotta spruce things up. You gotta do that stuff from time to time. Give things a new look, a new invention. Sometimes you just go with what you got for a while. You do what you can with it. But I really like the new sports uh, uh, thing that I got. I'll put it in the background up here, and I'll minimize myself. Um, see if I can get this. Oh, not enough. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Somewhere. There we go. I really do like that one, and I've had comments on it. People have liked. That's our new show. So get myself back up here. There we are. But I do like to do that stuff. I have fun with it. Sometimes it's frustrating, but it um, appreciate it greatly. You're welcome, man. I don't have much in stock, but my lead time feels much more generous since I've been. Yeah, you said that. By the way, what the heck was Miss Jen talking about? Somebody let you lost your nut? What the heck? I didn't get to see that live. I I'm not. I don't know what she meant there. I don't mean that in a bad way. She dropped that in the middle of a live show, and I'm like, what? I don't know what. I don't know what. I don't know what happened on your show, bro. I didn't get to see that one, but she's dropping in our chats talking about Steve. I just left Steve's live. He lost a nut. What? What? Oh, well, she didn't say that. I better not rob too much. Well, that's what she said. I think she might have said dropped and lost. What? Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble this morning. I can't even blame Rob. Oh, she's a sweetheart. I appreciate her. Uh, they sit and heard Mom listen to us a lot, all of us, and Steve's shows are never boring. It's worth watching his show is live just for the commentary, whether he builds anything or not. And even if he doesn't build anything, he's banging the heck out of something trying to make it. And actually, the mistakes are funnier because then he has commentary off of the commentary. Whatever he was going to say, then he says something about that. Then he circles back and says something about that, and then he'll come back by the end of the show and say something about it again. It's great. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good live reality TV right there. I love it through the internet. I hope you have a good weekend. Are you off Monday? Do you have to work? Some people still have to work. I do have Monday off. I need Monday off. I've got a lot of things to get done around the house. We'll broadcast, definitely. I'm going to do a lot of things tomorrow around the house, too. Today, I'll be working, but till late, and then church in the morning, church tomorrow night. And then maybe a live, like I said. I think we're going to be on with Killer Carl, Mr. Gina, and all. But we'll see. But hopefully, my wife will be able to go to church. I think she will be able to. Don't get more real than me burning myself. That was Tuesday night stream right at the end. Oh, Lord. Hope it wasn't bad. I do got to get over there and watch some more. I've been trying to bounce around. I was watching. I watched part of Kim's Coffee Talk on one of her shows the other day. I watched. Of course, I do pop in James's Empty Pockets podcast and Killer Carl's and your show, and I try to bounce between them and give you some follows and stuff. And I enjoy the content. And there's some others. Okay. I'm off Monday. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a big fat live stream later today, possibly tomorrow too. I've been going hard. Yeah, you have. Good job, man. I love it. Um, yeah, you need some sales to pay for that gas. Oh, but you hopefully you got all, hopefully you're gassed up. Could I say it this way, Steve? Hopefully you're full of gas. Hard steel and gas. Oh, you're used to the burns. Never that bad. Oh my goodness, I cannot stand to be burnt, man. I cannot stand. That's just the worst thing. Be burnt or have a toothache. Ugh, that's like the worst things in life. I know there's worse, but that's what it seems like. I went to the doctor Friday and was cutting up with him, and he has listened to our podcast before. We were talking a little bit about AI, and he was telling me that he uses Gemini. I did go use Gemini some. It's not good for some things, but for text and stuff, it's good. You can converse with it, and it'll talk to you and all that. Occupational hazard. Well, true. That's like a welder, man. Welder gonna get some burns. You know, no matter how hard you try, occasionally one's gonna get down the boot. Ugh. I'm not a welder, but I've been around a lot. Or people that grind, all kinds of stuff like that. Man's man stuff. Not some skinny jean stuff. Building stuff, making stuff, banging stuff, burning, torching. Steve, you would have been a natural in the Middle Ages. You would have they could drop you in right now. If they could be a time warp that would drop you in the Middle Ages and you would survive. Absolutely, without a doubt, you would survive. If they dropped some of these leaders in the Middle Ages, they would be dead within moments. Well, too, I do it all. Technically, I could be called a metallurgist. I like the Celtic blacksmith better, so. But yeah, you could be. But I'm going to tell you, though, the job I would not want to have had done back in the Middle Ages would be that working with leather and, you know, we have to have a pot to pee in. That's where we get that old saying, people that, oh my God, can you talk about vomit factor? Working with urine, softening up the hides. Ugh. I don't know if I'd survive without my angle grinder, bench grinder. Like I said, my tongue. Well, you would not be happy, but you would survive. Of course, it might turn you back into a drinker. There's a lot of that going on back in the Middle Ages. I wonder if the beer was any good. They make it. I bet it was pretty bad. To be honest, I bet a lot of that stuff was horrible. Yeah, but they made people do it. There were people that did that. Maybe they didn't have a choice. It's the only job open. They looked through the want ads. All the castle stuff was taken. There was, they didn't have any talent. They couldn't be a court jester, nothing. They wasn't skilled enough to be a knight. I mean, and they looked down through there and they, help wanted. Work, tan some hides, bring your own pee. I'm just saying, somebody had to do it. They say that the people in the Middle Ages didn't take a bath very often. That's a whole nother. Whew. Oh man, people think it was romantic back in those days. It was a nasty mess. Let's be honest. Brutal disease, the food, the living, very hard. That's why they didn't live long. Oh yeah. You got it, baby. Hey, Steve, have you had this happen on X lately? Like one day, it's a couple 3 days ago. Like everything in my feed was liberal. I mean, what the heck? I don't follow those jacklegs. It's like all of a sudden I'm getting all these, attack conservatives. Everyone was, I'm like, what? Where did this come from? I certainly that was who flipped the algorithm, man. I don't know if it happened to a lot of people, but that was just bull. What is that? I don't want to see. I want to see these people crying. Oh man. Oh, well, there's a lot of bull crap. I get it. I mean, we're gearing everything more and more to our Rumble channel. We're ready for whatever. That's why we're preparing all of our people for that. We are in the content creator program, and so we promote our Rumble, and we're going to be doing some Rumble onlys as we move and that way. But right now we're still doing some others. That's true, brother. That's true. What the heck? Well, yeah, man, you went from thousands upon thousands of, views and impressions and stuff till you get like 25 or 30 or 40 of it. I mean, isn't it amazing that somebody could have, I mean, there are people that say they have 300,000 followers and they get like 40 views. I mean, that's throttling, man. And they take followers away from you too. They just take them. You're constantly going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. Crazy. It crashed earlier. I don't know for everybody, but a lot of people are saying it was down, mostly down. Come on, Elon. Oh. Have you ever looked into it? I can't afford. I mean, the base one, I guess, if you had to, is about $1.20, but it doesn't give you all the features. But man, the cost of Starlink, wow. You see some of that crap? Yeah, man. If you're willing to pay, man, they got the upper echelon. They got the rich folk level. They got all the way down. None of it's cheap, but they got the bargain basement. 120 or whatever it is. They jump you to about 300. If they got like something crazy like $2,400 or something, what the heck are you pushing to have that? That's crazy. Yeah, it's pathetic. They overcharge for premium now. They offer no real new features for it. They stopped paying me. They won't stop throttling us to me. 2 HE double hockey sticks with them. I've heard a lot of people say it. Yep. Yep. I bet a lot of them do. They just constantly harass you. I mean, you're like, wait a minute, I'm paying for this. I'm producing. I'm like Bill Murray and what about Bob? Well, I'm working hard. I'm baby stepping. I'm doing all this stuff. I mean, come on, give me, give me, give me. And they just, they send you off to Never Never Land. And you think of all that work you put in it. I mean, or you just get canceled out. These people, I mean, the horror stories. I mean, people that were canceled out, their ministry, their business, or whatever, and got throttled, man. Just canceled out of the blue. You're done. It wouldn't even let me cancel my premium subscription. I had to get a new debit card and cancel my one just to get the auto payments to stop. Good grief, man. That's horrible. That's horrible. It's like calling up Sirius XM. We do a little satellite radio, but they keep upping it on you. So, like I don't listen to all of it. Every once in a while I've listened to sports but my wife and we love, there's one station that we really like and it's in her car. And I'd let my son kind of tag on because they gave me a deal. They just started gigging me on it. So you just call them up and tell them you're going to cancel. I went from like 41 down to 7.99 just for that limited thing, so we can still have that for her. And I'll probably have to do that every year because they'll just keep. It's good for a year. So at the end of a year, that's like going and buying an antivirus. Why ever upgrade your antivirus online? Just go buy the box again. That's what they'll tell you at the store. It's a ripoff, man. That you re-up it, they want to hit you for a whole bunch of money. You just go buy the thing again, download it again. That's what they tell you at the store. They said, and catch it when it's on sale. We run sales all the time, but if you try to do it, and this is for their customers, this is the way they treat you. No wonder people get pissed off. I mean, my God. I mean, you try to be a faithful, loyal customer or something. If you like something, you want to stick with it. And then you turn around, they're just constantly gigging you on stuff. It's pathetic. I don't know why Sirius would dare bump their cost up. They're on thin ice since Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. became too big and mobile data started getting faster and cheaper on cell phones. That's true. I would have canceled it, the truth, but my wife wanted that one channel, and we do listen to it. And I told her, and she listens to it on her phone as well. And you know what? She's certainly worth that, but it's not what it's not. The quality has went down. I can tell you that quality has went down. But I did get it down to 8, the 7.99. I told her we'd keep it for a while. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's and all these things are in flux. All these things, but yes, everything's changing. We can make it faster, bigger. I'm wondering how mad the NASCAR fans are going to be. And I like NASCAR. We do the show here. Amazon Prime. I'm just wondering if it crashes. There's going to be some ticked off race fans. Let's see. Yeah, just cancel it and get a Bluetooth compatible head unit for your vehicle. Problem solved. Money saved. I was at a financial class, speaking of financial, which is where I kind of came by the time you came in. And I was at this financial class here a couple of months ago. Really sound, good stuff. And this guy had been through divorces, and he'd been upside down. He wasn't somebody telling you, he wasn't Mr. Financial Perfect his whole life. He'd had problems. But he said everybody, no matter who you are, can save a minimum of $300 to $400 a month if you'll just start doing some cuts on stuff like this, stuff that you're having taken out, that you just let sit out there and you're paying for it. And he said, make some adjustments here. Everybody can find $300 or $400 a month to save just like that within 20 minutes. And it's true. It is so true. And some people can save a lot more because they have a lot more going out. He was telling me about people that make 400 grand a year that have less money than people that working for them every week because they're in such bad financial straits. They got family that had to bail out of trouble and all this. 400 grand a year in salary, and they're eating, just eating whatever they can eat to get by, and they can't afford their lifestyle anymore. and they're getting older. They're old enough to retire, and they can't retire. He told me about a lady who went with Celtic says, I'm merciless with subscription, man. I cancel Hulu just because they kept making me change my password. I take no prisoners. X tried that with me, saying I needed to replace payment card if I removed it, so I used an old prepaid card that was empty. That worked. Yes, Michael. Well, everybody says you don't get no benefit anyway from paying. There's no extra benefit. Mostly. There was only one for us. But yeah. And honestly, I could have done that another way and I would have been the same difference. So, but yeah. What's the old Van Halen song with Sammy Hagar? In and out. They get you coming in, they get you going out. That's the way it feels, man. It's just ripping you off. Yeah, I don't know who's running the show at X now, but they're flying that plane straight into a mountain. It's bad, man. It's bad. There are a lot of ticked off X subscribers, and I've seen some of them today. No doubt, no doubt. But there's a lot of them like that. It's like the YT man. YT man, their security stinks, man. People are getting ripped. We were about at the point of just dropping it. I'm serious. I do have some people that follow us there, but our followers are not that big there. But I'm just tired of dealing with them. I'm sick of them. They can take a flying leap, as far as I'm concerned. Mr. Doug, it's the way to do business anymore. Service and product gets worse and prices go up. Yeah, that's the model, ain't it? Yeah, we suck, but we're going to charge you more for it. Every year, though, you really do. You have to call these people up, and you just threaten to cancel, and they'll cut rates anyway, or cancel, and within 2 weeks they'll be begging you to come back. Just the price alone, imagine thinking it would be a good idea to bump it up 250% and offer nothing new in exchange. Yeah, or the stuff that they introduce sucks. It don't work. You know, oh, we got some new features for you, and they don't work. It's a constant crash. I've had that happen. The stuff that you think is good, I might as well keep it because this is going to be good, and none of the new stuff works. So you're paying more, don't work, and then they have the audacity to send you the survey. Give us your opinions about how this latest transaction has been, helped you. I never went to business school, but I'm pretty sure that's a good way to chase customers away quick, fast, in a hurry. It's like, you know what, and it's on the model that if you get a subscription, most sites make it nearly impossible. Well, that's true. That's like getting a timeshare? My God, I had a friend that was in a timeshare up in the mountains. He had to get a lawyer, dude. He had to get a lawyer. He had to pay $3,500 to a lawyer to get out of this timeshare. He could not get no satisfaction, man. It's like the mafia, man. They got you. They absolutely got you. But yeah. But yeah, they just get worse with what their services and stuff. But they expect you to like it. They send you the survey, and they're shocked when you're like, "We're shocked that your experience did not meet your expectations. How can we make this better? Can we offer you another service? Oh, we'll charge you just a little more, but we'll make it better for you." And everybody wants to deliver stuff to your home now. But they got extra costs for that. I'm getting a text every day now. Just have your medications delivered. Well, you got to join this thing, and you're going to have to pay a little more money. I had the delivery of medications at one time because, you know, they were pressing me on it at work and stuff, or at least the company they were with. And several of us have the same problem. They sent something that was needed to be refrigerated, which they had it in a container, but they put it right in the sun. They put it right in the sun. By the time we got home from work and opened it up, it was debatable whether it was still good, you know. So I just said, you know what? I just go back to the local folks, and it's all a scam, though. It really is all a scam. And we've all said it for years. The whole, do you have our value card? That's all a freaking scam. Like, we're just going to get you to come back. It's the company store. If you don't have the card, you're going to have to pay more. Or the person at the counter. Imagine the people at the register. They make all them points because people forget their number. They forget their card. They'll say, "Oh, I'll scan that for you," and they'll use their number. Steve, delete me costs $120 a year. I'm tempted to push that nuclear launch button and all those intrusive parasite subscriptions and outside of my life. Well, for $120, man, it's probably worth it, to be honest. You'd probably save more than in time and aggravation and everything else. Doug says, I sure do miss all the mom and pop businesses. You could trust them. Most everybody knew everybody. And a handshake was your bond. Amen, brother. Amen. I remember, and I've said this before, banks do this all the time. They buy out, buy out, buy out. I started this little hometown bank. I loved them. I walked in. It's like the Cheers theme, where everybody knows your name. I walked in there, walked in there, walked away. They got bought out. Prices went up. Service went down. They still knew my name, but it was getting frustrating. I got to where I didn't want to go in there that much. And I remember the day I walked in there that nobody knew who I was. I'm like, hey, none of these people know me. Nobody knows my name. Excuse me, sir, can we help you? Sir? You know who I am? Well, you kind of look familiar, but I'm kind of new here. We got a lot of new customers. I don't really know you. And then it become, well, you can't do that. We don't know who you are. It just makes me mad. I know a blacksmith who's steadily decreasing his prices and offering more over time at no extra cost. Just saying. I bet you do. The Celtic Blacksmith Blue Light Special. Oh, man. We become the sheep, man. It's just, they're just guiding the sheep around. Run here, the latest and greatest. Then run here. I can't get rid of that, but I'm going to add this anyway. And people got all this stuff. I'll guarantee you there are people that have so much crap like that. If they ever look at their bank statement, they'll go, hey, what's that? I bet they've forgotten what they've ordered because it's so easy to go click. They already got your wallet there. They just tag it on. 6 months down the road, a year down the road, they don't quit using that. They, what's this? Well, I don't remember ordering that. Sporting small business. I see you have the coffee donation thing in the corner. How do you like it? Well, it's worked some. I just put it in amongst the mix. Jake was using it, and he actually bought us a coffee when we did, and we've got a monthly supporter in our coffee club, maybe two now. It's very small, but we appreciate the support. So we just put different ways up there that they could help. So it actually has worked pretty well. You can actually set tiers in there in different stages, and you can actually, there's things you can do within that one there. So I think it's good to have. QR codes are great. We live in the world of QR codes. So I made a QR code out of everything that we have, and except for I got one. No, actually, I have all of them. I've upgraded all of them. So yeah, I was looking for something that I digital guitar kit. Yeah, sure, and I think that's as good as anything. It does work. We have people do it. And, the upside down hat. Yeah, the upside. Hey, I was in Atlanta once coming out. You got to love this, Steve. I was down at the old, this is before Phillips. This is the old Omni. I come out of some heavy metal concert. I don't remember who it was. There's a bunch of headbangers, long hair, leather. Yeah. And there was a guy who come up, a freaking bum. And he's shaking a little can with a little, like, probably some pennies in it. And he's doing a little dance and a jig, and he's shaking that cup. And he said, "Hey, how about donating to the cause?" Oh my gosh. Did he get ripped by them headbangers, man? Yeah, we got a tip for you. Get a freaking job, bum. Oh, come on, man. I live on the streets, and it got ugly. Dude, you picked the wrong crowd. This ain't the skinny jean crowd. This ain't the bleeding heart liberal crowd. This is the headbanging crowd. No, all these folks work hard for their money. They come to a show. They just had to plop down to buy their seats and their beer and their program. They don't want to see you. They don't spend all their money anyway. I had to laugh. The blacksmith sidewalk sale. Well, Steve, you are going to be setting up at those weekly things, right? I think you talked about like Saturday things. You could have something like that printed there, and as well on the table. So that would be something to think about. Well, my mind is no different than yours, Steve. It's just that yours goes in a different direction than mine. We all have that place we go. The mind, it's a terrible thing to waste. Sometimes I do. I got 1,000 useless stories, maybe 2,000, and I look for any opportunity I can to throw them out there. So it's okay. Utility companies have add-ons now that they used to cover, but now you have to pay for them. Oh yeah, everybody's out. It reminds me of the All in the Family episode. Yes, Steve, my mind goes there. It was Christmas time, and he made a mistake at work. He shipped parts to London, England instead of London, Ontario, or something like that. So he has no Christmas bonus, and everybody's coming to the door. The people singing the carols want money. The people that make deliveries to the house, they're wanting their Christmas bonus. And he goes, "Well, when am I going to get mine? When am I going? Everybody wants theirs for me. When is somebody going to give me mine?" That's the way it feels. I wasn't calling you the bum. I wasn't calling you the bum. Sorry if that came out that way, but I was thinking of you as the headbanger, dude. Come on. I, I didn't think about it that way. My mind was thinking of you coming out and being the headbanger. Come on, dude. I didn't mean, I see what you mean now. I didn't mean you to have the can. Oh, if there was a waffle head in my house, I'd be in my shop throwing my smithing tools out the door in the back of my truck. You might have to cheer Rob up when you talk to him. You stung him so hard the other morning with that. What was it you said? And then you just was gone. You had to go to work. Suck my fart or something. This is true story. True story. Rob's not here. Hey, you have a nice day too, Steve. God bless you. True story. We go off the air and he when Rob's not feeling well, he gets very sensitive gets into his feelings. He's not here. So if he's listening, yes, yeah. So we go off the air. We go off the air, and Rob goes, "Do you think I made Steve mad?" I'm like, "Did I go too far?" I was like, "No, dude. That was his slamorama out the door comment. He went to work. So Steve's fine." But Rob gets these feelings sometimes when he don't feel good, and he'll call me back sometimes and go, "Did I make you mad? Are we okay?" I mean, and sometimes he's mad. He's like, "I'm sorry. That's kind of in my feelings. I ain't felt good." Oh man, I got to give the old boy a hard time. Headed to the beach later today. I'm jealous. Oh my goodness. That's what I was thinking. Wrong one. Between 95 and 99% of things I say cannot be taken seriously. Dude, it really feels like that sometimes. It's like, what the heck was that? We are quite the team. We have a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. Occasionally, we tick each other off. I gotta say, I honestly never thought about the combination of a Twix and Sarah McLachlan. I like both. I mean, in its own way. I never thought about the two together. You're killing me, man. I ain't had a Twix in a long time. See, now let's see what you've done. That's gonna be on my mind. The Twix. We used to get those all the time. The Twix. I'm usually more of a Kit Kat, Payday, even a Snickers. But I used to get those Twixes quite often. Twixes. Awful. My God. We we are to mail him. He mailed you stuff. We are to mail him a Twix. Sarah McLachlan. Twix is on my no-fly list, sadly. Well, yeah, you went off the grid off that stuff, but you can mail it to Robert. I can see him opening up Twix bars, Sarah McLachlan's CD. What? What's this? Oh, then just say uh, more later. Explanation coming in a second. That would torture him. That's what we ought to do to him, Steve. We ought to send him something from a place that he wouldn't figure out. Like, not make. I could. I do a little traveling sometimes. I could send that from an odd place, and send the most weird, odd stuff, and then put in there exclamation will come in the explanation. Excuse me, will come in a second mailing. Oh, it would drive him crazy. Oh my gosh. Dude, I am all in. I love that. And if anybody deserves it, he does. Oh, even if we don't know nothing off the top, which we do, just because that we would get so much mileage out of something like that, it'd be well worth the cost of the expenditure. I got to tell you, I got to tell you, I love it. I love it. I loved our guest last night. Now, the week before, that's true. I love Robert. And sometimes he reads his guests wrong. The week before, when we had the wood people on, the people from the woods, he was all into that. Like they mind melded together. Like he's looking at the screen, looking at me, going, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like a little kid, like a little bouncy dog. Yeah, this is my kind of people. Yeah, take that, Dave. He's just on and on and on and on, just grinding it, grinding it. He just loves it. Well, then last night he thinks it's part two because these are interviews that he set up. So he's just like, oh yeah, this is South Georgia, my kind of guys. And the guy goes there that he's not into the Sharks. And well, the first thing that happened was the guy goes, who y'all root for football? And when Robert bows his head down to show his hat, and I said, Georgia, and he said, oh my God. And Robert assumed that this guy is a Dog fan. No, he's a Bama fan. So that was strike one. That just was a gut punch right there. It was an uppercut right to the gut. I could see it just like hit Robert hard. And then he gets on the food. They have a good talk. He gets on the foods and stuff. He's rolling with it. He's on the high wave. He's up there. He's giving me that look again, like yeah. Here, it's my kind of guy. Yeah. The guy drops the other bomb when he talk about going down being the Sharks, and the guy full on says, "Yeah, no Sharks." Dude, I like to fell out of my chair, man. Robert tried his best to get that guy to come on board with him about the Sharks. He was even getting defensive about it. I thought he was going to get a little mad about it. Oh man, it just cracked me up. I love that. He spent the rest of the program on the defensive. Then the foods. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're together on the food." Then he's like, "Oh no, what? I can't eat. You don't like that?" I got no. It was great, but the shark thing that was like a permanent uppercut that was happening. Robert was battered and bruised by the end of that interview. I mean, he loved the show, but you could just see it. His head was this big around, and he just started shrinking. Oh, I just sit here just loving it. I didn't even say that much. I just listened to him. He was taking him on. Like the interview got turned around. Oh. Oh, the little thrills of life. That was a good one. You gotta love it, man. I'm telling you, you gotta love it. That's what I love about interviews, man. You just don't know where they're going. Sometimes they're good, but they go off the rails a little bit from what you thought they were going to be. And then, before Robert's still trying to wrestle this interview back into his wheelhouse, and the guy goes, "Well, my wife's giving me the look. I gotta go. See ya." It's like he just slammed the door. We did an interview one night, and Rob's big on this, and it cracked me up. And this happened a couple of times. Well, sometimes we get done with the show. If it's at the end of the show, we'll all stay online and talk for a few minutes. Well, we got to the end of the interview, and the dude's gone. he clicked out, and he's like, "Well, he just left." Well, he said he could do the thing, then he had to go. Robert's like, "I don't like that. I want to talk to him some more." Dude, that's a winner right there. That is winner chicken dinner, dude. Kill the shark. He did, dude. He did. Did you not see that? Yeah, you saw it, man. If people didn't pick up on that, that was great, man. That's worth going back and watching, man. That moment, I'm going to have to clip that. I know sometimes you don't know. It's like, hey, we're done, bro. You can click out. Some people don't want to talk to you. That's why it's good. Usually, if you're getting off early, like in the middle of a show, you just go. But if it's at the end of a show, you're like, I don't know, man. Do I click out? Do they cancel me? You know, I'm still here, and they're talking to each other. Oh, you're still here? We thought you left. We're done, dude. Yes, Michael. That's. I was trying not to laugh, man. I was trying not to laugh, but I was just sitting there looking at Robert. He's like, "What? What? The Sharks? What do you got against the Sharks? Oh, they're misunderstood." They're just trying to. It's their environment, you know. What do you expect them to do? I mean, I was cracking me up. I'm like, dude, this is our guest. Easy. We're gonna lose out some free corn here, man. Come on. I don't think he want to tango with that guy. That guy ain't playing. He's a good old boy. He ain't playing. I ain't gonna no water no sharks. And then Miss Jen come in and said no to the shark. Oh, it was killer. I thought you're on your own, bud. You should just let it roll. One thing with guests, you don't have to agree with them. You just let them say their deal. But he got in a debate there, and I'm like, just better let it go, man. That dude's not bending. He's not going there. Oh, man. I have so needed to laugh like this. It's been a hard 2 weeks. And I got to go to work. Oh, man. Last Saturday, I got to tell you this before I get off of here. Last Saturday, there was a girl screaming at the cameras. The portable roll, they're on wheels. They put them in parking lots and hook them up to the solar array and all that. She's she's screaming and cussing at the camera. I'm like, okay, we got somebody. It's a nut job, or yeah, I work on Saturdays 2 to 12, brother. Every Saturday, 2 to 12. I get home late. That's why sometimes on Sunday morning I'm like, I'm here. But anyway, the girls. I went over. I said, why are you hollering at the cameras? I don't think that they look at them all the time. Just when there's an issue in the parking lot. And she goes, have you never heard of facial recognition? Just like that. I said, yeah. She goes, well, when I look in the camera, Tony the cop will see me. Who's Tony the cop? Well, he looks at those cameras. When he sees me, it turns on automatically because of facial recognition. That's not the way it works. There is no Tony the cop. So then this crazy lady, doped up bad, had to be dope. She said, I need to charge my phone. I got a friend. I need to call a friend anyway. I said, well, the chargers in this car is not working, She says, that's okay. I am my own power block. Well, how do you plug it up? You just lay it on your shoulder? I mean, what? It's about like being in a boat with a Cajun. He says, grab that gator. Tony the cop, he loves just. Oh, man. Oh, man. Are you gentlemen morning cereal guys? Are you against the cereals? I haven't ate cereal in years. I've ate some dry cereal, but I'm not big on milk and cereal. I don't eat it. But when it was Fruit Loops, baby. Fruit Loops. Or the Snap Crackle Pop. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get off here. I do have to go to work here shortly. We'll make a little more coffee for my wife. Make sure she's settled. The boy will be coming over and keeping an eye on her. Y'all keep praying for her. Pray for me. We'll see you out there somewhere. He was too exhausted to make. Then how did you eat healthy, bro? How did you eat healthy? You must have something health-wise. Yeah, I do that a lot, man. I'm okay with that. I like soggy cereal anyway. I just eat it dry. That's like going in and ordering a milkshake and a Diet Coke. Oh, yeah, I'll have a milkshake and a Diet Coke. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you like Diet Coke, you like Diet Coke. If we feel better about ourselves, then we feel better. If that what makes you feel better, you feel better. Oh boy. All right, folks. We're gonna cash out here. Thank y'all for being in here. Thanks for everybody. Have a great Saturday, a great weekend. We'll see you on the streams throughout the weekend. And y'all be safe out there. Watch for the crazy drunks. They're going to be out and about. Maybe they'll stay at home, but there's always some that think they got to go on a road trip when they're drinking. Y'all be extremely careful around the weekend. There's a lot of roadblocks too. So if you're that person that thinks I need to go on the road, roadblocks will be everywhere this weekend. So don't spend take the chance of killing somebody or ruining somebody's life or spending 48 hours in jail. Don't do that. Sit at home, get the steak on the grill, and the beer on ice, or whatever you want to do. But don't go out driving. Hopefully you're not doing that anyway. Hopefully you'll make the church Sunday morning. If not, tune in with us 10 a.m. Sunday. We'll have something out of the Word. Love you guys. Love you gals. Y'all take care. God bless. This is Dave, and I'm going to go out with some music, as I usually do. So I'll be here in the background for a few minutes. But then I'm going to head on to work. So pray for my safety with crazy ladies looking at cameras and cussing them out. See ya.